It is time for a change. Um, I haven't posted a video for at least a week, and well, with the exception of maybe one or two replies. And I feel great. I did that on purpose. Took a little break just to see how it felt to not reply with videos all the time or to not make videos all the time. And I did okay. It felt good. Um, I've been thinking in the last month, 2 months. All of this is driven by the expansion of the farm. And what I've found is that there's a few things driving this change. And the changes that I'm talking about is my content that I make. And I need to change how I structure the things I need to do for the farm and the business. And there's a few reasons for that. Primary one is family. I want to make sure things are pretty stressful right now in the farm with the expansion. There's a lot going on there, and I'll touch on that in a moment. And what I've found is that is spilling over into family life. And the last week where I haven't made content has felt a lot better. That being said, I enjoyed making the content. What I found is that I got too caught up in trying to make it, and it impacted family. And I don't want to do that. Family is greater than mealworms. And so that's spurring this change. The other thing that I'm finding is that the size I'm at right now, the expansion, I need to get solutions in place so that I don't drive myself into the ground, mentally and physically. I enjoy the physicalness of this very much, but it gets to be too much. And so I need energy in the evenings and on the weekends for family, but also just so that I don't want to lose the motivation to come in here and do this because it's too consuming of energy and time. And so I need some improvements in place. What I'm finding is that I am too scattered with all the things that I need to change, and I need to focus a bit on that. And so several things came together to kind of push me or nudge me in this direction, where instead of making content that is just little snippets of things, right? The TikTokification and the YouTube Shorts of the world. Instead of making those to try to communicate some of the more complex things that I'm doing, the nuances, instead of that, I want to shift to longer content to be able to explain that and build the context of it and communicate all of the aspects of it. And then I also need to do that to stop myself from getting caught up in trying to make those shorter videos and just losing time in there. It was interesting because last week I did make a reply. I remember a reply on TikTok about mealworms and styrofoam. I spent 20 minutes making it was like 25-second response. And so that's on me. Like I'm not saying that that's anyone's fault. That's on me. And what I would rather do is in those scenarios where a longer response is warranted or makes more sense to do a longer response, I want to collate those and batch them all in one. Basically, what I'm thinking is one hour-long session of responding to more complex questions or questions that honestly deserve a better response than just a 15-second answer, right? And I want to wrap that into the business changes and tasks improvements that need to happen. For example, I need a better method for handling beetles and the beetle swap process. Right now, in order for me to run the farm to the optimal space and production, I need more beetle bins. But what that means is every week when I do beetle swap, right now it's very manual. I'm literally shaking every single tray, filling every single tray, et cetera, et cetera. And it's taking about 3 hours now. That needs to be trimmed because that's too much time. And so the other thing is I can both reduce the time without sacrificing quality, because if I do the mesh method, the gimbal just died. If I do, well, let's reset. Okay. If I do the mesh method, that will increase production because it helps protect the eggs. And so those are things that I want to step through, but also operationally, I need the time to go do that and build the bin, build the mesh, test it out, get that together, along with what I feel like is 50 other things. I need to make that list. And then I need to prioritize that list and march through that list. And so what I'm planning on doing is, one, building that list. Two, making that list public in a Google Drive, sharing that document out, and probably the ancillary documents. So, like, I think I'll have the prioritization list with some very brief notes and maybe some status stuff, next steps, and then I'll have ancillary docs also shared that will have the details of that, like beetle swap. Here's the next step. Here's the date. Like very simple things. And then here's the beetle swap document with everything in it. And they'll be public and comment. They'll be open so that folks can comment on it. And what I'll do is every week, I'll touch on the projects that are active. And then the ones that aren't will be in the list, but not actively being worked on, to help me prioritize that and to continue to make progress. Because I get lost. I'll focus on one thing and then I'll switch. Food waste is a good example. I started doing that, made a bunch of videos about it. Haven't touched that in like 2 or 3 weeks because I'm drowning in work right now. And so I have to temper my desire to do these other things and these bigger projects. And again, I'm going to document all that with needing to get everything squared away. I'm finding that the expansion has caused a lot more change in my processes than I thought or anticipated. The other thing that's driving this decision to change content is that I no longer feel like this is something that anyone can do. And what I mean by that is, I think anybody right now can raise mealworms at home. If you've got geckos, if you've got chickens, if you have a garden and you want the frass and you're going to give the mealworms or trade them to somebody else, like, anybody can do that at home. And I've always said, you could do what I've been doing. And I want you to do what I've been doing if you want to. I think that's transitioning now into a scenario where what I'm doing doesn't make sense for anybody and everyone to integrate into what they're doing. And so my goals are different. My processes are going to be different. And instead of trying to tailor that to the folks that are going to raise mealworms at home, it's going to shift to more business structure, more process and machinery and things for somebody doing it full time. And so I just that's where I feel like things are going. That being said, I think I'm going to get this started next week. And I'm looking at doing this on Wednesday or Thursday mornings. Can't do Mondays because that's order day. Tuesday is get everything rolling, rocking for the week. Friday is a catch-up day. So I think Wednesday and Thursday, Wednesday or Thursday morning is where I feel like I'm going to sit down, do this, and get it all done. And what I'd like to be able to do, one of the things I do have to figure out, and if anyone has any suggestions, is I'd like to be able to, like, during the week, I'll take pictures or short videos. I'd like to be able to, as I'm recording, kind of pop up and say, here's the beetle tray status right now, and here's how it's working, right? Like have the visuals. If anybody has any suggestions on, simple tools to do that, I don't need full professional. I don't want to get too perfectionist here. Imagine like TikTok and the green screen, right? Like that's what I need just in general, outside of TikTok. But that's kind of where I'm headed. So wanted to throw that out there. Let you guys know, wrap this into longer term. I've talked about a Discord in the past. I really think that this lines up better with that Discord idea, and some sort of like group that comes together and is doing this. So that's where things are at. Sorry for not posting recently. Took a break on purpose just to see how I would respond to not making all these videos all the time, and it feels good. So I think now I'm going to layer in and experiment with a once a week sort of update in general, and start throwing out the longer form. What I think I'll do is I'll also use Opus Clips to take that longer form and maybe chop up segments, right? So if I touch on beetle trays, my thought is that I could somehow, if there's a quick way to snippet that on my own and get that loaded as a video, build those playlists out, organize things a little bit better, get that on my website, that organization and this documentation, so that it's referenceable. That would be good as well. So I'll probably use Opus Clips to make the shorter stuff, and that way you can see quickly like what was talked about. If something piques your interest, go to the longer form and watch that sort of thing. So that's where things are at. Time to get back to work. Let me know what you think. Any ideas, suggestions, things you want to see, and we'll go from there.